Hi, I'm Chris Leader, Master Gardener, food blogger, and writer. Gardening, cooking, healthy and tasty food is my passion. Welcome to my country kitchen, where we'll cook fast, fresh, with the best ingredients you can find. Come join me now. Now we're going to make some beans and greens. This is really a great dish that you can have, especially in the summertime when you have an abundance of lots of greens like kale and spinach. This recipe is really good for those type of vegetables. In the bowl here, I have some olive oil and a little bit of avocado oil here getting warm. And I'm going to add a clove of garlic to this. And we'll let that just get a little bit brown. Now for this dish, I'm going to be using up some leftover chicken breast. So if you ever have anything left over in your refrigerator, clean it out and put it in a one bowl supper, and you'll be surprised at how good it really tastes. So let that garlic just kind of until you can smell the aroma. That's when you know it's time to put your next item in. And I can smell it really good. Too bad this doesn't have smell-o-vision because it smells like garlic and it's good. And then I'm going to add a bunch of spinach, like around 4 cups. And spinach really wilts. Most of your greens wilt way down. Okay, so let's get this in here. It's almost like I'm stir frying this. So I'm going to add to this just a little bit of chicken broth to kind of get it started and more steamy. A little bit of garlic in there yet. Don't want to waste the garlic. Okay. And as it starts going down, then you can put a little bit more spinach in there. And while that's starting to shrink, I am going to cut up this chicken breast. I'm going to cut it up like in little chunks, just like bite-sized pieces. And I'm going to throw it right in while that's steaming. Okay. Now I'm going to add a little spice that's a little bit different. It's a cumin. It's kind of a mid-eastern spice. But if you don't like cumin, just go ahead and skip this part and just use salt and pepper. A lot of Mexican dishes have cumin in them as well. I added a little bit more broth in there because if it starts sticking in your pot, just add a little bit of liquid to that. And the reason why I use chicken broth is that it has a lot better flavor than just plain water. And now you can see the greens have been really wilting down. So now I'm going to add a can of white beans, cannelli beans. You could use kidney beans, 2 white kidney beans. Then I'm going to add a pinch of salt. And I'm using pink Himalayan salt. And then I want a little bit of color in here. So I'm going to take some carrots. These are just those little small baby ones you probably have in your refrigerator right now. I'm going to grate some of those in there so we have some more brightness in here. And if you had just salt and pepper in here and not cumin, you also could add some butter in here. But being I have cumin in here, I'm not going to add anything but oil. And the oil I'm going to use is just regular olive oil. Okay, our dish is done. That was very fast. And it's all in one bowl. Now I'm going to make for you Mahi-Mahi with a citrus salsa. And mahi is almost like a tuna size in a fish. It's got big, wide pieces of meat. And I'm going to show you how we fry it in a pan, make it all in one pan. What I have here is the fish fillets, and I have one here that I have just started to put into a marinade. And this is orange juice and olive oil, and of course it's fresh squeezed orange juice. And the spice mix that I have used is paprika, onion powder, a pinch of allspice, and then red pepper flakes, salt, and pepper. And that would be the seasoning that we use for the dish. I'm just going to mix this up. And the side over here, I've already seasoned that. And what you want to leave this marinate anywhere from 30 minutes to like an hour, and then you should flip it a couple times while you're marinating this. So I'm going to sprinkle the seasoning on this side. And I have a pan heating here that I put some avocado oil in there, so it's about ready to be put in. So I'm going to put my first piece of meat in there. We're going to let that sizzle for a while. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and put a little bit more seasoning on. And I did have this marinating for a little while, so it's about ready to put into the pan. But I'm going to put a little bit more seasoning on this other side too. And what you want to do is you want to keep that oil at a steady temperature, and then when it gets golden brown on the side, you're going to flip it. Most people have a tendency to overcook their fish. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit of this marinade right on top of here. Get a little bit more juice there. And now we can go on to making our salsa. And this is a nice bright salsa. It reminds me of Florida. There's lots of bright citrus down there, and there's lots of avocados in that, from Mexico usually, is where we usually get them here, is almost always from Mexico. So I'm using avocados here. I just kind of slice them up and put them into the bowl. Just make sure that the avocados are ripe and not, you know, very hard. If they're hard, you won't be able to use them. They just won't have the flavor. Okay, I'll add these little ones right here. Okay, now I need to add one orange, and the orange I have peeled and I've chopped it up into little bite-sized pieces. And the longer it sits, it kind of juices it by itself. So that'll be some orange juice with the avocado in there. Then I'm going to add one red onion. And if it's a big onion, just kind of put in as much as you think. You don't want to be overpowered with onion. That should be about right. And then I'm going to put in one jalapeno, a fresh jalapeno. And that I cut into like pretty small pieces. I don't want it to be big chunks of jalapeno in there. And a little bit of fresh orange juice. And this is fresh squeezed orange juice. And I'm also going to add some lime juice, fresh lime juice. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. And then I'm going to add some cilantro. And cilantro is something too that not everybody is, some people like it, some people don't. So if you like cilantro, add it. If not, you can just leave it out. And when I use cilantro, I use the stems and the leaves. And if I just chop them up real fine. So you can see it's a nice bright green color. And I'm just going to let that sit, and now we're going to check our fish. This is ready to turn, so should be a nice golden brown like that. And you can also tell, because the fish is starting to turn a little bit white around the edges, that means it's ready to flip. And this particular tool I have, it's called a fish spatula, because it's real flexible for using a big fillet, so we're going to have in a big pan. And now we're just going to let this cook and get brown on this side, and then we'll be ready to put our salsa on top. Okay, our fish is ready. As you can see, you just put the fork right in there and it flakes. And when it flakes, that means it's done. So I'm gonna put it onto our dish. I'm gonna top it off with some salsa. So you can have right on there, and I'm gonna add a little pinch of salt on top of here. Just a little pinch. And then I'm gonna put a few leaves of cilantro, just some bigger leaves on there. So it gives it more green, because you really want it to be a green. You also could switch out the orange for like a mango too. So you could use any kind of citrus you wanted to. So either one of those would work just great. So this is Mahi-Mahi with a citrus and avocado and also the orange salsa.